Hey, what is going on, guys? Works Trends here. Let's rip the band-aid off right away. I don't think Burner is all that good. Well, shit. Burner is a 2022 object show made by Sacristuff. You might recognize this name because this same person also created the 5-secondly object show, Battle for Grandma, Battle for the Money Island, as well as the cinematic masterpiece that is Obsolete Battle Show. So yeah, Sacri's got quite a few object shows under her belt, and I've enjoyed each and every one she's made up to this point. Sacri is by no means a bad object show creator. She even co-created Animatic Battle, one of the best modern object shows. So if I've liked everything Sacri's made up till now, then what makes Burner so different? Before we start, I want to clarify that I don't think Burner is bad. I don't hate it. In fact, there are quite a few things about this show that I actually really like. Let's start with the premise. 12 objects are suddenly teleported to a small pocket dimension and are greeted by a strange person who is much different than them. This person then immediately tells the characters that they will be competing in an object show hosted by them. Sound familiar? Okay, I'm not saying that Burner is copying one, but I just wanted to point out how similar these openings are. This crazy new character the objects meet is Daddy Longlegs, and he just loves object shows. They talk for a while, form teams, do a couple challenges, I think there's an elimination or two in there somewhere, and you're all caught up. Wow, I'm so proud of you guys for figuring out this show. You're such a smart— Oh wait, never mind, I forgot there's actually more. You are so stupid. So all these characters are just okay with being here. They are more than happy to join the competition, and they start making goofy quips right away. Now, I don't think every object show needs to have 1 levels of character depth, but I think it's these 12 contestants, as well as Daddy Longlegs, that make me dislike this show as much as I do. So let's start talking about each and every one of them. We're just kinda gonna go in a random order here, so why not start with one of the more iconic characters of the show, Lamey. Do you guys remember Max from Total Drama Whatever the Hell Island? If you do, then you probably know what I'm getting at and are now pissed. Lamey is a super evil villain who brings destruction everywhere he goes. Or that's what he thinks anyway. In reality, he's actually a little gremlin who thinks he's an evil villain. And much like Max from Total Drama, his entire personality is exactly that. In fact, about 90% of the interactions Lamey has go something like this. Oh, I am evil. No, you're not. You're stupid. Wow, I'm sad now. It's just the same formula over and over again, with not much being done to spice it up at all. It's just a running gag that I'm already starting to get tired of. Kit is the token I don't care character. She doesn't care about most things except for when it comes to annoying Lamey. She's not a bad character, I just don't really have anything to say about her. I guess similar to Lamey, her little shtick is starting to get a bit old, but not nearly as much as him. Polaroid is a gimmick character. His thing is that he prints out pictures of words instead of talking. It's unique, I'll give you that, but he doesn't have much personality other than being the quote-unquote silent guy. It's nice when he motivates a roomie, but he really is just there to be different. I know a lot of people in the comments are going to argue about this one specifically, but he doesn't really do much. He's just kind of there to be like, oh, that's a bad idea, or some other generic reaction to something. His pictures are charming, but the charm is starting to wear thin. I'll predict he'll be out next episode. I don't know, she likes to murder people. I like her friendship with Kit. That's one thing I can truly praise Burner for. When a contestant gets eliminated, they aren't just sent away. They just hang out. This allows all of them to still do anything, including interacting with the still competing characters. When someone gets out, that doesn't mean that their story is done yet. And I really like that. Of course, this kind of thing wouldn't work in every object show, but this here, it's good. I especially like how wholesome the eliminated contestants are, with Pina helping spray paint dig a hole for Kit. Even though the two have very different personalities and values, they just hang out and dig. I like that. I like Phly. I'd say he's one of the better characters of the show. But it can be so damn hard to understand what he's saying sometimes. This forced me to watch with subtitles, which I hate doing. He's pretty unpredictable and is actually pretty smart. Like in episode 2, for example. He takes over Plato's brain and gets him found in the hide and seek challenge. His best moment though is when he gives Record the motivation to finish the challenge. It's a nice conversation, but you think that Phly is motivating Record to do some huge thing she's scared of. But no, Record gets the motivation to walk up to Daddy Longlegs and hand him an apple. Like, what? Sorry, we're not at Record yet, let's just get back to Phly. So Phly actually went to Record to steal the apple, but didn't do it. I like this. It makes Phly feel more like a real person instead of just a contestant. I will have to disagree with this statement though, because the backgrounds in this show are unbelievably boring. It's just all orange all the time. I'm sure it saves a lot of time in animating, but it's just orange. This sucks. She has anger issues and constantly gets mad at the other contestants, most frequently Plato. Again, not much to discuss. There isn't anything inherently wrong with the character, I just don't care for her. Pina is the country boy. He likes digging. That's all they really do with him. I'm joking, he's a kind fellow and I enjoy his relationship with Hangar, especially after they both get eliminated. It's just kinda nice to see two people be genuine friends in a show. Other than that though, there really isn't too much with him. He's just a nice guy. Hangar is the little guy. He's a little guy. That's all they really do with him. No, that really is just it this time. Oh my gosh, I hate Plato so much. I absolutely despise this character type. Plato is just a cocky little parasite, and I loathe every single scene he's in. I know that this is done on purpose, okay? I'm not stupid. I understand that Plato is meant to be insufferable, but I just don't like him. He's written very well. He nails that self-centered archetype with every line, but I hate him nonetheless. Record is okay, I guess. She's the only character in the show to actually go through any change at all. She's all shy and introverted until episode 4 when she becomes brave. Then she falls and everything is presumably reset. Back in episode 1, Tissues teams up with her and only her. Because of this, Tissues is the only person Record ever really talks to. This can lead to her feeling like Tissues' sidekick at times. In episode 1, 2, and 3, Record is either just sitting around doing nothing or following Tissues' command. She's still definitely her own character, but I feel like she should start doing her own thing every once in a while. Like that scene in episode 4 when she actually attempts to win is probably her best scene, and that only happens once Tissues is gone. Also, in that episode, 2 teams are put up for elimination, but only one person gets out. This is because Record and Tissues need to be up for elimination in order for the game to be fair, without either of them being guaranteed to go. Just a little thing I wanted to mention. The reason I'm talking about both of these characters at once is because they are virtually the same. The silly yet powerful character type is fairly common in the OSC. Usually it's a host, but sometimes it's a contestant. I have no problem with this type of character, but it just doesn't work when 2 of the 12 contestants are like that. I believe that this kind of thing works much better when it's one powerful contestant in a sea of normal ones. This can be seen in Star Jar in It's Time for the or Pill Bottle Jr. in OBS. It kind of loses its cool factor when it's not exclusive to one character. Tissues is omnipotent and Eracy is omniscient. It's different enough, I guess, but I don't see the need for both of them to be here when even their personalities are almost identical. They are silly and goofy and say random things a lot. This is 1/6 of the cast. Eracy seemingly knows everything. He knows when the challenge is starting despite being far away from when it was announced. He knows what the challenge will be hours before it happens and grabs the materials he needs. He knows when Plato and Rosie have already gotten what was needed and he no longer had to get it himself. This happens many times in the show, and it is actually questioned by both Phly and Hangar at different points. They seem to know that something's up with Eracy and are suspicious of him. However, Tissues summons a rocket launcher, spawns a pirate ship and an airplane, is possibly also omniscient, and breaks time. Yet not a single person seems to think that this is out of the ordinary. Not even Record, who witnesses all of it. The idea of a contestant secretly being super powerful is cool to me. My favorite part is when the other characters start to catch on and become scared or intrigued by the power. But that never happens here because everyone just pretends that it's normal. And the impact of these powerful characters is diluted because there's 2 of them. I see absolutely no reason both these characters should be in the same show, especially when the cast is as small as it is. It's a face on the wall. She can move around the walls and ceilings of the... Look, I don't know what this place is called, so I'm just gonna call it the box. Rumi, who isn't a contestant, has the ability to move around walls, floors, and ceilings of the box. If you don't know, the box isn't just a box, but also has a long hallway that leads to dozens of other rooms. But we don't get to see many of them other than a library and this one that's in ruins. These 2 rooms are the only exceptions to the boring backgrounds of the show, and I hope we get to see more interesting locations that aren't just orange. The character itself is fine, I guess. I don't really have any strong opinions on her. Daddy Longlegs is boring. He's just a guy, and I don't find him amusing. He says everything in this very specific way, and it gets on my nerves. Could you imagine if I sounded like this in every video? Hey, what's going on, guys? Worst trends here. Today we are talking about, Today we are talking about Burner. This show is pretty good, but I'm sorry for bringing up one again, but it seems like they try to do the same speaking patterns as Airy, but failed miserably.
Hi guys, I just teleported you here so that you can compete in a competition show.
You wouldn't even want to stay for the chance to win a prize?
He doesn't even do much. He just announces the challenges and talks with the teams a bit after they become safe. I don't even know why he's here because it's revealed that Rumi is the one that comes up with all the challenge ideas, gets the props, sets up the voting, everything. He can't even run his own show by himself. In my Q&A last video, someone asked who my least favorite host was, and I wasn't able to come up with an answer. But now I can easily say that it's Daddy Longlegs. I don't think I've seen a single host with less charisma, energy, charm, or any positive trait. There's nothing to him. He just exists. I'm sure Daddy Longlegs in his way of speaking is supposed to be funny, but along with everything else in the show, I just don't find it funny at all. I know it's just because my style of humor is very different to that of the show, but I didn't laugh, giggle, or even smirk a single time while watching this. But I think I remember thinking most of the other Sacri shows were pretty funny. Even OBS, which is more focused on story than humor, made me laugh at least once or twice each episode. But here, every joke just feels so predictable and safe. It's like the humor of Battle for the Money Island, but done without any hint of irony. About 90% of all the jokes in this show use one of the following formulas. A. Explaining something obvious that is happening. B. Someone says something and someone else responds with, actually, it's the opposite. C. Just random nonsense. It's funny, goofy things a character says out of nowhere. After a while, it stops being charming and starts being grating. Everything else here is extremely basic and predictable. Here's one of my favorites.
We could get lost and not find a way out, and then we'd be disqualified.
What if it's a big giant evil bear?
All right, let's go.
Next up on the chopping block is the story. Surely this won't be nearly as bad as the characters and humor, right? Right, actually. I kind of like it. To start off, we have absolutely no clue what the box actually is. Is it a pocket dimension? Is it somewhere on Earth? Who knows? There's that ruined room I mentioned earlier. It's apparently super dangerous, and the reason it fell into such disrepair is because Rumi forgot to check on it one day, and the next, and then she was too scared to look in fear of the damage that was caused. This happened 500 years ago, which raises so many questions about what this place is and what Rumi is. Same thing with Daddy Longlegs. Why is he here? Is he here just for the competition, or does he live here? There also seems to be someone living in the ceiling who's been dropping pennies since episode 1. At the end of the most recent episode, Hangar finds a piece of something that looks like the sky. It definitely feels like the show is building up to some cool lore stuff, and I'm actually pretty interested in that. The show actually takes this story stuff with complete sincerity, which I really enjoy. Like when some of the contestants venture into the ruined room, the show knows to stop with the jokes and actually be serious until they return to safety. It seems like the show wants to be serious with its story and world, but not really with the characters. I don't need every show to be super deep, but all these characters feel like outlets for specific jokes, not people. Most of them aren't too far off from being one-trick ponies. In my own personal opinion, Burner is a very flawed show, and I don't see why it got so popular. Which is why I'm putting it in C tier. And you know what? Screw it. AIB is gone in C tier too. I changed my mind. Looking back at that poll I made, 92% of all voters said it was either good or great, with only 2% saying it was bad. The major factor people brought up in the comments was how enjoyable the cast was. It is overwhelming how much love there is for these characters. So maybe I'm just the problem. Clearly, tons of people love this show and these characters, so it's possible this show just wasn't made for people like me. When I see boring and repetitive characters like Daddy Longlegs, other people see a funny little guy whose nervousness makes them laugh. And you know what? That's okay. This isn't my kind of show, and just because I don't like it doesn't mean I need to convince everyone else the same. So if you're watching this, and Burner is your absolute favorite object show of all time, start crying. My opinion's fact, remember?